afternoon. Welcome to the FTD Virtual Design Show titled American Floral Trends 2027-2028, featuring FTD Education Consultant and American Floral Trends Creative Director J. Keith White, AIFD. As a quick housekeeping note, Keith will take questions at the end of the show. If you have a question, please type it in the question box on your control panel. In the handout section of your control panel, you can download a PDF of the trends booklet that includes all of the colors. I will also share a link in the chat to the American Floral Trends 2027-2028 website where you can find more info and inspiration. All right, let's get started. Welcome, Keith.
Thank you, Janet, and welcome to the American Floral Trends 2027-2028. We're really at a pivotal point within the floral industry, from our emotional stabilities to just stability in life. And I want to start out with the trend packet that will be available for you to download PDF files at your leisure. There'll be a link there in order to do it. But the actual cover of American Floral Trends is done in black and white. And through the trend consultants and trend contributors and our whole collaboration that is pulled together for the American Floral Trends, it's just not me. I have a great group of industry leaders and designers that not only contribute all of their knowledge to it, but how we can pull it all together and come up with really a spot on color palettes for each one of the 5 trends that are going to be for the year 2027-2028. With the research and development phase, AIFD Foundation is instrumental in supplying a grant to kickstart the actual trends. Otherwise, all of the collaborators and contributors, we all get together and come up with the scenarios for each one of the 5 trends. This particular time, when I wanted to do the cover in black and white, and people kind of ask why, and other people got it. But when you look at the true black, white, and gray world that we're living in, down to 80% of our cars that are out on the road today, you don't have a color choice. In the floral industry, my God, we have the full array of colors. It's our responsibility, literally, to bring color back to our world in the next 2 years. As we see dwindling of colors, dwindling of just self-expressionism, people are really in tune. They want to be themselves. They want to express who they are. And of course, with one of the trends, most likely is going to be their favorite color palette or maybe how they live. But it can be also used every day. It can be used seasonally. It can be used for, again, holidays, whatever the occasion may arise. And we wanted to make it very easy to understand and also incorporate the American floral trends in your daily work as a retail florist or as a designer. With starting out with the particular trends, again, there are 5 trends, and we want to look at the ratio of colors per trend. And when we start out with the first trend, which is called Aspire, with Aspire trend, there are 5 colors that are associated with this trend. When we look at the trends and the colorations for Aspire, we have carnation red, coral bright, yellow yellow, fuchsia, and cranberry. And I want you to consider just even the names of those colors. And working with Design Master, these are all Design Master color paints that I work really closely with Gretchen. So when we're also pulling the colors together for the trends, we not only look at consumerism in the American marketplace, She's in tune with the South American, with the European marketplace, as are several of the other key people on the trend consulting team. So we pull all these great people together in order to establish the colors. This particular go around, we've limited it to 5 colors because we know it's going to be spot on for you. So with this particular color palette, think about the immersive feelings that you have going into places and feeling things in that sensory perception, food, the culinary world that people are so in tune with on fusion of colors and how fusion of different cultures come together and how this brings in the Aspire color palette with the truly fusion of the marketplace. And when you think about the farmers market and how all of that is infused together, and you can see the color palette uh, from, papayas, tomatoes, bell peppers, the true lemon, even squash plays together well with all the different types of produce that's available. So don't consider this just a citrus palette, even though citrus is part of it. Just think about combining, the plums, the peaches, the lemons that all go together. And talking about sensory perceptions, I want to show you a cut lemon. Is your mouth watering? What does it feel like to bite into a lemon? What's bitter to the taste can become sweet to the eye. So that is Aspire. When you're bringing in this really farm to table, and people are so used to seeing and immersing themselves in the farmers market or even at the local grocery they may shop at. So when you are pulling colors together, and when we look at the combinations of materials that can go together and do work well and play well with each other, here's a design with the combination of those fuchsias, some coral bright brought into the design, but playfulness, a really different combination from the ranunculus to the orchids, back again, gloriosa lilies. And then you always want to be aware of the container choices or containers that are into play, which I call elements of design when you're working with the new color combinations. It's all about texture. The more we did research and development on each one of these trends, it was really all about texture. So this particular container, once again, it simulates like maybe small lemons, but the texture is so incredible. And again, the flowers themselves, all the textures that from the delicate petals here of the ranunculus, how they beautifully open from a bud to the openness of the bloom. But we also want to look at new flowers and new combinations of materials or new varieties. I'm going to reach in here and pull this rose out. This particular rose is one of the newer varieties out. And with American Floral Trends, we do not say, oh, it's going to be one color for the year and it's going to be one flower for the year. I think that really stifles our creativity. And so I want you to aspire to broaden your creativity and broaden your sense of color and the color palettes that are available with the different trends. One thing that we really focus in on too is textiles, the fashion industry within selecting colors or how things are done. I work with Dee Stevens or Donna Stevens on ribbon selection. So with the fashion world, plays that really crucial role in really a jump start to where consumers see colors, where they see textures, name brand versus off brand, but it's also about, classic items. And so watching the runway shows literally almost a year and a half to 2 years ago, I kept seeing Chanel come up with classic suits. And here is a simulation that Donna did with, and her inspiration and coloration for ribbons that are brought into play. You can see the frilly edging on here, but also a little bit of red. Red has been non-existent in the floral trends, and now we're seeing that glimpse of red again. And so truly, red carnation is in that particular color palette. When you're looking at other things like layering of materials together, and hopefully you can see all the detailing that's gone in here, from the vibrant red, just that touch of it, to the coral bright, glittery, not so much, but the intricate beadwork. And that's where it plays an important role. Details in your design and details that go into each one of these trends is really the key on how to pull it all together. So with Aspire, I want you to be excited, immerse yourself in that culinary experience, and bring it to life with a grand selection, again, of floral materials. Our next trend is called Discover. And Discover, we want to think about the palette that's included in here, but how to discover new things, like Aspire. Aspire to do it, but discover what's out there and available in the marketplace. With Discover, we have the colors basil, olive bright, blush, honeycomb, and red clay. When you're looking at this particular color palette and the selection and the mix thereof, think about desert tones, the freshness that can also be brought to the desert in different light aspects from dusk till dawn. Think about that red clay is a terracotta color, caramelizing, and the flow that that can bring to such a delicate in palette, but also a delicate environment that we're living in too, the desert itself. But when you are considering colorations and bringing items together, I just wanted to show you the red clay. It has a terracotta feeling to it. But again, if you look at the true coloration of this, think about it as caramelized. So once again, back to food items again, or sensory perceptions of caramelization. Also, when you're looking at textiles, things that work really well together, you can see it. Even though a desert might seem very rough and rugged, here's a rugged cut velvet that's brought together in that red clay. But also, we want to look at other things like just a plaid that can be incorporated. You can see the olive bright, but also the red clay brought in, and black brought into that palette. Here we have another textural just piece that says it all too. Very light, very delicate, but in textural patterns. You get it with that mix of red clay all the way to that vibrant olive bright. When you consider the term olive bright and you want to look at just even the container choice, this particular container is from Windward, and it is a tulip pattern, but look at the color. So I chose to put in just really more of a textural design for you using the trichelium, the green pop mum, um, also a little bit of the hypericum, and looking at the green trick that goes into here. Color on color on color. the same intensities, the very bright olive coloration. And so with this particular color, you can go retro or you can go very modernistic with this particular palette. When you're also considering bringing in the full gamut of colors, and you want to consider how that red clay can play well with other materials. Here's a beautiful selection of roses brought in with a touch, a tinted hydrangea and red clay, even the Banksia that's brought in here. The texturing of the Banksia hit with a little bit of the red clay, it brings it to a different level, different understanding when you're working with, quote unquote, the tropical flower. It's okay to blend them with hydrangeas or delicate blooms. Branch material, of course, back again, the gunny eucalyptus brought into this design, the fragrance that's brought in here, and that basil coloration. The honeycomb gives me a natural feeling, a golden yellow. So once again, thinking of desert tones from dusk till dawn, that honeycomb color can go from a lighter tint into a deeper, more saturated, almost mustard coloration. And there's a couple of new roses out on the market now. One is called Midas Touch. Unbelievable. And so it would work really well with this palette. The key here is that um, bringing in blush. Blush is going nowhere. So we combined it with all these desert tones. And again, it's so subtle, it's so soft, but brings the complete palette back again all together. And this is done a little bit more in groupings, but you can see the peonies here. Just that touch of blush, what it does to really those caramelized tones uh, that offset and work well, and I want to say play very well together. When you are considering choosing maybe a trend to work with, a lot of people might think Discover is more of a fall palette. The more I've done research and development on the phases of 2027 coming up, some people are saying this is the number one palette already for weddings. And so when you take, I want to say the boho, which I call boo hoo, I don't want it, wedding, and you turn it in, it's almost like that whole thing about years ago. I have to bring up the mason jar and burlap. Yikes. Now we're talking about that boho feeling and pampas grass. Yikes. Out. And so when you look at the Discover palette, you can see that translation or the evolution of how trends come to play in our marketplace. But again, weddings, I'm seeing more of the people that are going more organic, more sustainable, are really gravitated towards this since just releasing this in June, the full spectrum of this on the website, also with the flip book. So I can see this happening, and I see a few little inklings and posts here and there about trends for the weddings, and Discover is right up there. Normally, there's like one palette that we have that's going to be, oh, that's the wedding palette color for the next 2 years. Well, watch Discover, use it if somebody's looking for that organic feeling in your wedding. The next up, we have what is called Envision. Envision is a truly painterly palette. Many of us call ourselves floral designers. It's okay to call yourself a floral artist with Envision. With Envision, we have the colors of lilac, pink petunia. We also have coral charming, blue hydrangea, and the infamous teal peacock. When you think about this combination of materials, it truly is a sophisticated pastel combination of colors. Also, in this one, if you go to the flip book, You'll be able to see that with Design Master's new website also. You can see how colors are done in coats. So I think about it really as a watercolor palette, and all 5 of those colors that were selected were actually chosen with Just for Flowers. With Just for Flowers, it is literally, if you've used this product before, it's more of a transparent feel that's good for overspraying or changing or shifting the color of some of the floral materials. So utilizing that aspect, and through Oasis and Design Master, you can see on their website the 1 coat, 2 coat, 3 coat, and that's really adding tints, the whiteness to each one of the color palettes there. So the lilac becomes softer, the pink petunia can become softer just by adding white, or do the 1 coat, 2 coat, 3 coat. In studying and researching this particular palette, I really looked at artists' interpretations because of the painterly palette this is. So with the artist's interpretation, one artist that really stood out was Monet. Monet painted literally multi canvases in at a time, because it's back to what I was saying about the sunrise to sunset. You can see these different color shifts or translations of color that happen with these palette for Envision. With this particular choice, Envision gives you that opportunity to go light or to go fully saturated. Also, when you look at a flower itself, I never see one color in a flower. I see multi-colors, multi-layers in floral materials. So I brought out, um, I want to say, a rose that has the beautiful fragrance. Too bad we don't have, you can't smell this one. It's incredible. In this particular rose, the illumination or the lightness that plays a part, even in this particular lighting, it's almost white, that subtlety of pink. When also you're looking at even like a sweet pea, and the different, just the natural portion of this sweet pea, you can see how the colors translate. 1 coat, 2 coat, 3 coat, the lightness to the darkness of each one of these individual blooms. And that's what really the passion that I have. Every time I look at a flower, I don't see a flat paint color. I see the reflective values. I see how the saturation of color is, along with the texture that's brought in to each one of these individual blooms themselves. When you want to see the actual watercolor palette brought into play, think about that watercolor. Solid colors, and you add a little bit of water so the color becomes sheerer. Here I have a great example of the coral charming that's in the back. And just think about that with coral charming peonies. They're dark when they arrive. Have you ever watched them open? Have you ever, it's that proverbial stop to smell the roses. Have you ever seen how flowers perform? Leave some out so they can perform. And 4 to 5 days, that perfect coral charming is going to become very, very light. So this is a great example of the lightness that plays a factor. Here's another great example of combinations of colorations, from that peacock color all the way into the corals, and again, the pink tones. This is another textural piece, and I brought these in not just because of the ribbon itself, but to give you that color sensation that can be brought into each one of these palettes. Again, combinations, if it's a single color or if it's a multitude of colors. And when I speak of multitude of colors, here's the next design up. The full gamut of actually the Envision look. It's done in a compote bowl, a silver piece that could also be tinted if need be. People ask about metallics. Is it going to be a strong metallic that's in for 27, 28? I think metal on metal, mixed metals are still the key. If it's warm or cold, silver is usually colder. Warm is gold. So it depends on the setting or the flower placement that you're going to have. But here is a great example of the lightness to darkness throughout the color range, from the lilac all the way down to the coral charming that can come a little bit lighter. The peonies, once again, that shifting of color from the very light center to the darker outer edging of the petals themselves. Hellebores are becoming stronger and stronger as one of those newer items that are available commercially. It's almost like the David Austin roses that were only available in plant form. Now we have so many, not just David Austin, but so many garden roses out there available to us. Make sure you take a look at all the different garden roses that are available. And again, people go, I don't know, they just don't last for me. Please, it's about care and handling. When you're working with garden roses, see how they open. I just finished an event down in uh, Pasadena, California. It was nice to be back there again with my old buds from Tournament of Roses days to see some of them, but also for Fun and Sun convention with all the different growers of flowers. So again, introducing new varieties. So stay in tune with what's coming out in the marketplace for 27 and 28. And again, that commercially grown, that the availability is going to be there for you. So just again, a nice combination, some fragrant eucalyptus brought in, the antique hydrangea, and this design really tells the story of Envision. When you're also looking at how that black, white, and gray world that we're living in, um, people sometimes really want that calm feeling. Have we gone too calm? Have we gone too sterile? And how to warm that palette up? We couldn't just say, oh, we're going to forget about it. We wanted to bring in, because people are living like that. And literally, it's how people live with flowers and how you, as a designer, bring flowers to people emotionally, but also bringing in maybe those subtle calming colors. So our next trend is called trust. And it truly is trusting how people live and the calmness that this palette will bring to their home, infusing a slight bit of color. In trust, we have the combination of herbal, which again, that spa feeling, perfect pink, and we have flat white, and we have ivory, and we have the color from Design Master called October Brown. When you're looking at the brown feeling and saying that in the floral world, it's not the best term to use. So as a group, as a collective, we said, let's call it, and especially October Brown, and there's no way to change that paint can or call it something else. So establish names such as great feelings, things that make you feel good. And so we came up with cocoa powder. And so that was the perfect thing. Yes, Design Master has chocolate, one of my go-to foods, staples of the day. But cocoa was really more like the October Brown. It has a slight misty cast to it. So again, chocolate is perfectly fine to use in this thing, but we're also talking about um, textures again in here. How even if you're doing color on color or white on white or ivory and white mixed together, wax paper, parchment paper, vellum, Those particular names marry real well with the term cocoa powder. So again, um, the perfect pink and October brown brought together. Has it been done before? To a point. So you have to think about trends and the evolution of trends, how they continue on, and a lot of times history will repeat itself. When you're designing with the colorations, soft, subtle tones, but again, I want to say the new black is brown. When the combination of those materials play into effect, do we do a container that's maybe so traditional and keeping in mind this look might be a little bit more formal, could be a little bit more contemporary than others that are chosen. And so I'll bring this one forward for you to see. This is actually done in a porch view container that is classical in form, but also has some age to it. And you can see how the brown tones have played a part, not so much rust, but how the brown tones play into effect. Bringing in flowers like the dahlia here, um, next to a rose that's more the playa blanca feeling, that pure white that comes in, the pure white peony, ranunculus in pure white, but also bringing in a little bit of ivory play into it. And we can't forget herbal. So bringing in the I want to say drapey foliages in here, we get that herbal color within our foliages. Always look at how many foliages are available. Coming out of that convention this past weekend and conference, it was amazing to walk in and see how many growers have so many different varieties of foliages that are available other than your staple items that we use on a day-to-day basis. So take a look at those and see what's up. Poppies, again, playing an important key role as a flower, but is it the flower of the year? We, again, try to stay away from that one single item or one single blossom. The orchid, the white phalaenopsis orchid, has become a staple within our industry, but also it's that flat white. It gives that coloration just purely in the natural stem. Who can't love a white phalaenopsis orchid? Branch materials like the tree magnolia or even the flatted pussy willow branches brought in here. So bringing in a cocoa tone against all this neutral palette and even the herbal selection brings the palette really together. And people will say, oh, there's your number one wedding palette. So when you think about weddings, events that are going to happen, you'll want to consider styling also. And styling of designs, where have we gone with stylings of just wedding bouquets or wedding work? And I want to say, just like the design itself, really more of a loose and airy feeling. It can be a little bit grand, or we can get it a little bit tighter, but we want to have those specialty select blooms, such as like the dahlia, the poppy, and some of the beautiful roses that have been incorporated in here. But a little bit more loose feeling and maybe a few little dangles off the side. If it's going to be a seed pod or foliage that you bring in to the design itself for wedding. But I have a feeling this thing, make sure you leave room for all the flowers to breathe and show when you're designing. Don't have them face to face. Let them dance a little bit in the design. Yes, the nerves might be high on bridal day, but that's how you want your flowers to feel. A little bit of movement, not so stiff and sturdy when you're doing and presenting bridal work. So I want you to understand, trust yourself on this one for sure. It truly is an incredible, soft, calming palette, and bringing in that cocoa will help elevate it to the next level for 27 and 28. When you think other color choices, other selections, and how the trends evolve uh, for American Floral Trends, we had to look at ombre for 25, 26, and what a sophisticated, strong palette that was. It was very minimal for colorations. And so the evolution of each one of these trends played a factor. The colors might not go away, they just seem to be remixed or reinvented with each other throughout the full gamut of all 5 trends. The next trend that I have is going to be called transform. And with transform, this is that evolution of ombre from the past 2 years. And with the ombre palette, we had a purple and a green and a blue together. Again, very, we didn't know how it was going to take off. Believe me, it took off in the sense of a sophisticated customer, a customer who could understand subtleties in life, didn't want to be, out there so much, but understated elegance that those colors brought into play in ombre. So with transform, it truly is the transformation or the evolution of one of the trends. And with transform, we brought in, yes, again, the purple that was in play, but we also chose blue violets. In the floral industry, blue is one of those hard colors to come by. And so when you're looking at, again, a true blue, there's not a lot of flowers that can be colored blue, but there are some great selections out there, like the delphiniums or some of the hydrangeas that are deeper, darker. But you want to look at the stability of purple in here and how, yes, purple hydrangeas are readily available. And those that deep darkness is where we want to head with it. I talked to one lady a couple of days ago and I said, "Oh, I need to get you something. What are your favorite colors?" And she said, "The darkest purple available is my favorite color." So you have to look at, again, the consumerism, where things are drawn, not so much that each one of these might be your favorite or personal favorite color, but where that consumer is drawn to and how their purchasing power is grand and the scope of trends. So if you can combine the colors together properly, and we're giving it to you literally how to combine these colors together, they're all winners, I have to say. And so looking at this one, we brought in, once again, a subtlety of red. This one is a holiday red. And red through the fashion industry, I'll repeat again, subtleties. I could see a whole runway of black dresses, and then all of a sudden there might have been, a sleeve turn with a hint of red on it, or someone carrying a red purse and red shoes, or even one red dress I saw and a whole lineup of haute couture wear, one red dress amongst all the black. So therefore, that red is semi-emerging and will continue to emerge as really an accent color in the color palette. Orange is in there and also walnut wood tone. Walnut wood tone, instead of being a darker brownish shade, it also has a red tendency to it when colored or sprayed or you're looking at a true walnut tone. So we have the key colors, once again, our new introduction, the walnut wood tone, that will have that redness to it over the cocoa powder. And then we also have, don't forget, the stability that purple brings to a lot of people's lives. And then again, the blue violets, which is a just for flowers color, where you're going to get the subtleties from, like Envision, possibly a lighter to a darker coloration in that blue palette. In the design itself, you want to look at combinations thereof, or again, just I go always mono botanicals in a vase is perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with receiving a vase filled with red roses or just filled with purple hydrangea. It is back again, sometimes that monobotanical is the way to be able to not only get a trend color across, but also that sophisticated feeling of this particular trend. And bring it and transform it into your sales, and they will increase, because guess what? Monobotanical is a lot simpler to put together than it is a mixed arrangement. So bringing in that purple tone next to the orange tones, back. Don't think of it as Halloween, please. Think of it as year round, but it's great for the upcoming fall season. These two colors together. And if you want to go out on the edge, we've seen animal prints come and go and come and go and come and go. And when I was in the showroom with Donna, I saw a red leopard, red and black leopard. So I even saw in an audience a few weeks ago a lady with this, and I said, you need to change that color palette and start wearing red leopard. And she just loved it. I don't know if she was going to go home or go out shopping that day. But again, animal prints, if they're done again in a unusual way, different. That's what we're looking for with the trend sometimes. It might be a little bit startling, but we want something to look forward to, something to project to, and those combinations of material. And this design, you can see the full color spectrum from the orange to the purple, blue violets brought in, not only with the delphinium that's in the back here next to the other hybrid delphinium that's here. The purple to the blue play of flowers that are brought in, closely related. And again, you might just incorporate different shades of the blue purple together. The holiday red, which is a deeper, a little bit darker red coloration than would be a red carnation or something a little bit brighter. Back again, the seed pods, you can see the walnut wood tone naturally comes out just on this particular seed pod. That redness, the purple pansies I brought in here because I want to say back in March or something, I was at the San Francisco Flower Market going through some of the spaces and seeing the availability of product that was out there. And I saw packages of pansies. I was so excited that day. It gave me such inspiration that all of a sudden here we are. It's similar like a garden rose. Yes, they were available in plant farm, but now they're available in cut flower farm. Instead of those little short stems, and what do you do with them? So maybe they're not the greatest shipper and they're only available through your local farm or local farmers, but they have hybridized them so they have incredibly long stems now. And I don't want to say common flowers like the lily and orange still plays an important role, but you can see the garden roses brought in and also some zinnias on the other side and combinations there of colorations. You can see how the texturing from the blue to the red goes in this particular design. So the transformation not only of the trend itself, but transforming this color palette together will enlighten and enrich that whole feeling of transformation. And one thing about transformation and the palette itself, everything that we've talked about today, you predict, oh, one color of the year, don't forget about the orange. I have a feeling that's coming like really, really soon, and colorations. So the broad spectrum of each one of the 5 trends that was presented to you today will be available in a PDF form. It will not come in the vellum envelope. You'll have to download it. But again, the full packet is available, and that is compliments not only of FTD posting this, their education, but AIFD Foundation for providing these. And if you need more, you'll be able to download those on the website American Floral Trends American Floral Trends, .com will also give you the link to a flip book. Please go on that website and look at the flip book. It gives you a wider inspiration than what I was able to bring to you today. The scope from all the trend contributors, those consultants and designers, people like Mike Hines, Laura Dowling, Jorge Urbe, the list goes on, and Charlie Propetti, uh, Accent Decor, with their unbelievable outlook on over the years, forward thinking of designs in container choices, selections that are available, down to Design Master, all the colors that are seen there. And you'll also be able to download from the website each one of the color palettes brought together. And so again, don't forget to download that, and don't forget again to go to AmericanFloralTrends.com. And I would like to thank FTD for their support over the many decades of me, but also their support of education, not only on a daily basis, but again, supporting this project, which is so instrumental in educating each and every one of you about colors, color combinations, what's on the horizon, what's tomorrow, and how can I succeed in my business and show this not only in the design room, but have this and be intelligent to be able to produce this kind of color palettes or colorations when that bride or customer comes in. You'll be very amazed at the success that you can have if you utilize this, literally, I want to say, free tool to you. So take advantage of it in this day and time. I truly have a passion for floral design and passing it on to people of what I know, what I gain, and hopefully you will do that the same, not only to yourself, to your customers, and the full gamut of how these colors play such an important role in our daily lives, and how we can be better people just by introducing more color to our black, white, and gray world. So again, FTD, thank you so much for the educational opportunity. And now we'll open it up for questions.
Keith, thank you so much. That was great. I love all the colors. Color is awesome. Yeah, thank you for sharing all of that, helping us all be on the forefront of the color trends for the upcoming couple of years. As Keith mentioned, we are open for questions. So if you have any questions, type those in the question box in your control panel there. And then I believe Keith mentioned it, but I will mention it again. He's going to be taking some close-up photos from those designs, and we're going to be sharing those on social media in the coming weeks. So make sure, if you're not already following us, be sure to follow Mercury Network on Facebook and Instagram so that you'll be able to see those photos. And then let's check in the questions, Keith. We've got.
Okay, questions.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Yeah, on Facebook, my account is J. Keith White, AIFD, CFD. I do posting about the American Floral Trends on there. There is a link there. But again, how to utilize maybe one arrangement with certain colors and where those happen. hopefully very soon we'll start some reels showing this, and those will be available not only on the Facebook site, Instagram, and then Janet and I had a brief discussion, hopefully through Mercury Network soon.
So, yeah, fantastic. I dropped the link in again to everybody, that website link. That flip book that Keith has, that the team put together is amazing, and it does have so much more than what you can see. So I highly encourage you to do that. And also, reminder, I mentioned at the beginning, and Keith has mentioned it, go into on your control panel, it's marked as materials. And that's where the PDF, it's a 12-page PDF that is the little mini booklet of each of these 5 trends. So it's definitely a great resource to download for yourself. So I'm not seeing any questions. We're just getting lots of comments. Amazing program, great knowledge and inspiration. Thank you. Thanks for, sharing and giving everybody a peek at the future. And they look forward to bringing these concepts to life in their stores and in their businesses. So, yeah, no questions, Keith. Everybody's just excited and
Or not, but it's like information overload. But
good
anyway,
information though. So
I'm sure I'll get some messaging. What about? What about? What about? How about later on? So again, thank you for joining in, and look forward to the future of color and color trends, and of course with American Floral Trends, utilize it, be spot on with your color combinations, and good luck and much success for the coming 2 years, for 27 and 28.
yes. Yeah, thank you everybody for joining us today. A recording will be available on demand on the FTD Mercury Network Florist YouTube channel. You'll also get it in an email because you were registered and you attended. So you'll get a link for that recording as well. For more education programming from FTD, please visit ftdi.com to register for upcoming free webinars and design shows, and to view those past education programs on demand. So thank you. There was one question last minute. You can download it if you click the materials section up at the top. You'll be able to see the PDF and you can download it from there. We'll also have it available on the YouTube channel as well. So you'll be able to download it from there as well. But definitely go to the website for the flip book, and you'll be able to see everything there as well. All right. Thank you, everyone, and have a great evening.